kind of questions you got,
Yeah,
Michael?
first, I'm very delighted that we meet in the real world after having lots of contact via Facebook and email and all this. Yeah, I've got some very easy questions for you. At the end, it's just it will be three, just because of the time. The first one, I saw your video on your website.
Yeah.
On the move, where you play, I don't know, lots of guitars.
33, I think it is. 33 different guitars.
In this video, I didn't count them. It was amazing. What I was interested in was, how many guitars do you own? In summary.
Well, you know, I actually haven't done a head count. Maybe around 80.
80.
Something like that. I've got a lot of guitars. Yeah.
Where do you get them from? Where do you buy them?
I have been collecting guitars for years. Yeah, some I've had for ever and ever, and then I'm always on the lookout. I'm always looking through pawn shops and secondhand shops, and if I see a thing on the outside of a store that says, you know, stereos, guitars, you know, I'll pull over and go see what they got. I did that one time. I was going to a pawn shop, and I told my wife, I said, I think I'll pull over at this pawn shop. And she said, okay, yeah, you might as well look. So we pulled over, and this is a true story. There was a 1963 Gibson SG in the store, and I ended up getting it because somebody had sanded the headstock. They weren't sure what kind of guitar it was. I knew it the second I spotted it. There must have been some damage to the front of the headstock, and the previous owner sanded it, so they called it a no-name guitar.
Okay.
And I got it for $200.
That's cool.
And then took it to a luthier, and he redid the headstock, and just a beautiful guitar. So I mean, I find stuff like that, you know, if you're just looking, and plus it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
So I've been doing things like that for years with my son, who's my bass player in my band at home. Yeah. His name is also Rocky. We had to keep it simple.
Rocky Jr.
Yeah. And he collects vintage basses, Fenders and stuff like that, Gibson.
Okay. Are there any favorites among these guitars? Is there any guitar you have a special relationship to, your favorite one, or
yeah,
are they all
You're a Harmony H75. That's a killer guitar. I guess you could say my favorite is, my son came home and had found me a 1952 Gibson Les Paul, and that'll stay with me forever. It had been refinished during its day, and it was refinished in a solid cherry red, so I just thought it was striking, beautiful. And they had put humbuckins on it and a Bigsby, which changed it a little bit, you know. But they did the conversion so long ago that they used real Gibson patent applied for pickups on it. So it was just the greatest. That's my favorite guitar. That one, and then my '68 Black Beauty, which my son recovered for me years ago because he works at a pawn shop, and yeah, it's a pretty good story.
How do you decide which of your guitars you take on tour?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, I get confused. You can ask my wife this. Before I go on tour, I'll have 4 or 5 of them out. And I go, well, do I want to take the gold top? Do I want to take this cherry one, or the solid red? And I always end up taking the VOS 59, the one that you've taken photos of. And I suppose it's just because that must be my favorite, because I'll go through that ritual every time before tour starts. And which one was it? Oh, okay, I'll take that one. So I guess that's just must be my favorite. Okay. For taking out.
Yeah. But I saw, I don't know if it is an actual photo, that there is a Fender Telecaster also in your tour equipment.
That's I love Fenders. and I've got a 68 and a 69 and a 72. I mean, I got a lot of Telecasters, but I use those mostly in the studio. But I have bought them out. I have brought them on the road with me, and just terrific guitars. I've Stratocasters also. I think I used them in the video. Yeah.
Yeah. The Strat was in the video too.
Yeah, I used a couple in there too.
Okay. Something completely different. Also, an information I got from your website.
Okay.
You wrote something about your careers, and I remember you mentioned that you thought working for a label would be the biggest form of success you can imagine, and some years later you decided to redefine success. What means success nowadays for you?
Well, I'll tell you what means success is to not be taken advantage of. And the labels that I was with, they did take advantage of the situations. I just felt it was much smarter in this day and time to, I do own my own record company now, and you know, I do have distribution, but I know where every dollar goes. You know, I don't have to count on this person and that person to say that, well, you know, you made this much, but we say the expenses are this. You know, it just made me come to a realization. And actually, after having a talk with Joe Bonamassa in Australia, he kind of opened my eyes to, well, it's possible, you know. It's possible to put out your own record and do it right. And the key is the right distribution, getting good distribution. And also Mayall does it, John Mayall. Now, he's signed with 40 Below Records too, recently, but they have a unique situation worked out. And but John has put his own records out before. So, you know, I got inspired from some of the
people.
Yeah. That is,
but what is the most important, let's say, feeling, emotion that defines success for you? Is it the artistic freedom, or is it a financial thing? What really defines the success in all this?
Defines the success is to know exactly where all your dollars go and feel comfortable about it. You know, because, you know, to always wonder if you've made more than you're being paid is not a good feeling, you know. And to know exactly what you've earned and you rightfully understand it, that is totally successful for me.
Okay.
And the artistic freedom of choosing your own material. Like in the old days, you know, when Led Zeppelin would make an album, not every single cut sounded like it was cut from a cookie cutter. You know, you might get a kind of funky song, and then you might get a straight ahead rock song, and then you'd get a ballad. I think that's beautiful. Because we all have certain songs express a certain sound, you know. And sometimes labels kind of think you should go just down this alley, you know.
They want you to make the next hit.
Or what they think you should be doing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one that's creating it, you know. So, yeah, that would be.
And you feel successful today?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it more. I love playing with John. John's a hell of a lot of fun to play with. He's a great guy. You know, I do have my own band. I haven't actually gone out on a tour with them since I'm so busy with John, but here and there we're throwing some shows together. But for the main part, you know, I'm kind of sticking with touring with John and trying to. I'm going in the studio as soon as I get back and complete a new album. That it'll give me a little time. I think we've got like 3 or 4 months off, so it'll give me time to focus on my project.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does it come to the collaboration with John Mayall? How do you met him? The collaboration with John Mayall. How was it? How was the beginning?
Oh, how did it happen?
Yeah.
Maybe.
When did you first met him and how?
Oh, okay, yeah.
How did he decide you are the one? He wants to have a band.
That's a good story because our band opened up for John in Dallas, Texas, and John, while we were playing, I noticed John was standing on the left. That's where his dressing room was anyway. But he was standing there, you know, and I kind of nodded at him, and he kind of went like, hey, you know. And so at the end of the show, I gave him a CD and said, hey, I just, you know, it was great working with you. And I handed it to him. He said, oh, thanks. He put it in his bag. I didn't hear from him for 4 years. I just thought, you know, it was a nice meeting, and 4 years later, I got a phone call going down I-30 in Dallas-Fort Worth, and it said unavailable on my phone. And I thought I'd grab it, because usually I don't, when I don't know who it is. And, hello? Hello, Rocky, this is John Mayall. I went, wow, cool. And he asked me on the spot, he said, I'm thinking of making some changes, and he said, I'd like to know if you'd like to make some money with me and, you know, play in my band. And he said, you were my first choice. I said, well, I'm honored. Cool. So that's how that happened. And then we waited about 3 months before we started rehearsing, and then ever since, we've been touring a lot, and it's been great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question.
Okay.
Your solo project. I've got the CD,
yeah.
Rocky Athas, The Essentials,
yes.
Volume 1, which is a great one. As much as I know, we have to wait for Volume 2 and Volume 3. When and what do we expect?
Well, I just wanted my old catalog, some of the highlights from my old catalog to kind of have a second look at. So people, you know, they might have missed it on the first go-around, and now that I have had a little more exposure, I thought this way I'll kind of take highlights off the 3 and 4 albums I've got and take some of my favorite cuts and make one essential album. And then I thought it was so hard to find the songs for that album that we said, well, we better do 2. And then my wife said, yeah, you probably ought to do 3 because, you know, because I had so much material out. So we decided to do 3. And we already have all the artwork and everything and all the songs ready for 2, but we thought we'd wait a little bit before we put it out. And it's doing real well.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people, I get, you know, with new fans and stuff, it's very cool for them to hear my history, put it in one package deal for them.
Yeah.
You know. And then I thought, before number 2 comes out, I will probably, well, maybe not. But before 2 comes out, I'm going to try to have my new album out with all new material.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I try to get some nice shots, maybe for number 2.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're, are we using one of your shots for the second, I think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to do something nice tonight at the John Mayall concert in Ennepetal where we meet today.
Yeah.
And I have to say thank you for answering the questions.
Well, thank you, Paco.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And hope you enjoyed it too, and you will have a nice evening here in Germany.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Should I call you Frank?
It's completely